Okay, we're just going to have a couple of quick announcements this week instead of long, lengthy, boring announcements like last week. And then we're going to have our dinner show up, and then we'll have our presenter. Firstly, I want to let you all know that I had a great president's meeting last Friday out in Desert Falls with the other presidents, some of the other presidents in the valley, and learned all about the grant process and that sort of thing, and that qualified as our grant training session, which was great. And was able to pitch our prospective golf tournament for December 7th. And GP, how are you?
Good morning.
Better late than never. GP, would you like to eat?
How are you?
Would I like to eat?
Good to see you.
Sure.
Could we add one more in? Okay.
Well, yeah, you're filling your stuff.
We need to kind of get your name on here, what you want.
So we like turn it up there? A long time ago.
Anyway, as far as our golf tournament goes, it is a go. Ricardo, who is from the Palm Desert Noon Club, who puts on a great golf tournament every year, books it at Palm Valley, has agreed to join. Call all the rest of the presidents over this week, get the ones that are going to participate to commit, and we're going to go for this thing, and we're going to raise a bunch of money to do that. So if you'd like to be on the committee, let me know. If not, I've already volunteered some of you anyways. Okay, and all right, so that's that. More news. I just spoke to Ron Cielo today from the Atrium, from the CV Rep Group. The four-way test play is a go. We have a writer who's working on it, and that's going to be going into production soon. And they're also having, every year they do a youth outreach program where they design a show for kids, bus in 1,000 kids who see usually their first live performance in their lives, and their show is starting September something or another. I'm going to send you the flyer. You should go attend it, see it. It's 2 35-minute shows a day at 2 and 7, and then the public is invited on a Saturday at 2 or 7 to that show. And that production company will be doing our four-way test play, which will film, perform, and do a DVD next September. So we'll be raising money all year for that. So that's the four-way test play. That's what's happening there. So I don't really have too many other announcements, but I think Cheryl would like to add something.
No, I want to do the Rotary Minute.
Oh, yeah, we have a Rotary Minute. But first, we must introduce our guests, of course. So, who do we have here? We have...
we have my partner, Diane Sharp.
Hello, everyone.
Ron's lovely better half, Becky.
Over to say that.
No, she didn't say I was lovely.
Past District Governor Helene Kalfas, member of the Noon Club. Frank Peabody, member of the Noon Club and our Assistant Governor. And our Speaker, Dale. Welcome. And we named you kid number 1 and kid number 2.
And you know...
I asked what their names said.
They're easy to pick out.
well, let me just...
Go ahead, introduce yourselves.
My name is Austin Roman.
No way. I don't know where it is. I can't find it. I can't find anything else right now. Go sit down. Denise, by the way, she was here last year and filmed our presentation with Ted Nickerson from the animal control place where we talked about the animals of the desert. And this just brings me to just make one more small announcement before Cheryl gives us our Rotary Minute. We've got a Wiener Minute here. The Technology Academy of Cathedral High School has generously and happily agreed to give us 2 students for the entire school year to record these presentations and these wonderful speeches that I do for the whole year, and edit, upload it to our website, and we thank them very much. It's good experience to deal with both parts like this. So that, we'll have a Rotary Minute.
Okay, this Rotary Minute's a little different. What I'm going to do, you're going to be hearing these living in the valley. These are the ads. We got a grant to produce our website, AskRotary.com, and these are the radio spots you're going to hear running through September, October, and November.
Cheryl,
I don't know, I wouldn't be able,
we'll just over here.
if you can hear it, because it's on my phone.
I
So I
see.
thought if I stood in the middle,
Yeah, okay.
you might be able to hear it
Go.
better.
That's okay. Go on.
Do you remember what you had for dinner last night? Well, last night, hundreds of thousands of people in the IE had no dinner. Rotary is doing something about it. Local Rotary clubs feed more than 1 million meals a year to hungry seniors, kids, and families in your community. Rotary is here in the Inland Empire supporting communities like yours. Find out more about the Million Meals program and all the ways local Rotary clubs serve our communities. Visit AskRotary.com. That's AskRotary.com. What's the cost of freedom? Higher than many of us can imagine. Rotary knows the price of freedom is paid by our families, our communities. Each year, Rotary proudly honors our military heroes, placing thousands of flags in a grand field of honor. This is just one of the ways that local Rotary clubs honor, support, and serve communities. Find out more about the Field of Honor program and all the ways local Rotary clubs serve our communities. Visit AskRotary.com. That's AskRotary.com. Most young adults have never heard of polio, yet it still cripples children in some countries today. Rotary and its international partners have battled and won the fight against polio around the world and are very close to eradicating this horrible disease. Help Rotary win this final victory for children everywhere by participating in the March to End Polio. Learn more about the March to End Polio and all the ways local Rotary clubs serve our communities. Visit AskRotary.com. That's AskRotary.com. Do you believe children are the future of our country? Then you share that belief with Rotary clubs across our great nation. Through Rotary youth leadership programs such as student scholarships, vocational programs, and literacy support, local Rotary clubs play a significant role building the future of our nation. Rotary offers clubs and programs to help emerging leaders develop their skills. Find out more about youth leadership programs and all the ways local Rotary clubs serve our communities. Visit AskRotary.com. That's AskRotary.com.
Okay, these are the ones, there are 2 more that are being added to it, and they'll be rotated through the 3 months. And we've got a lot of spots.
But how long is each
They're
ad?
30-second spots.
what
And
is
they're
the
going to
rate?
rotate, you heard all of them, so back to back. But that's not how they're going to play. You're
Well, of
going to
course,
hear,
yeah.
right, one spot that
So
is...
here in the valley, what stations would we be able to hear those?
KTIE, no, that's out there. It's KEZN, K-Frog, and, I'll tell you in a second, I just got it. Did I said KEZN?
KDS? KDES?
No,
No?
no,
Isn't it 1010, Cheryl?
no. No, I feel
That's all right. Send
Yeah,
them to
I'll
me
tell
and
you
then
anyway.
I'll send them out.
Yeah, that's a good journey.
Okay, anyway. As soon as KZN, KXFG, and KMRJ.
And what is Rotary paying for that? Are they paying, getting any?
The money's coming out of the grant. That's what we got a grant to
Oh, I see.
produce.
Oh, cool.
So that was the grant that we got approved.
Good.
Great.
Do you know if you're getting hits on your computer yet? On the
On the
Ask
Ask
Rotary?
Rotary, we are.
You are?
Yes, we can get a lot, but
How is that being tracked?
through Google Analytics.
Oh,
So also we have ads running on, we have Facebook ads that are running on the website, and if you click on one of those ads, it takes you right to our website.
how much was the grant?
We got $10,000.
Who is preparing these talks?
Their committee wrote the scripts and the radio station produced them. They obviously, doctored them up a little, edited them out.
Do you see this as a program that could expand, where the budget could expand?
Well, we hope so.
stations and all
I mean,
that?
this is hopefully just the beginning of what we're doing. I mean, the district, to my knowledge, has never really applied for grants to do these kinds of
One
things.
suggestion.
Hmm?
One suggestion. The next time you roll out ads like this, if you can give some kind of a tracking device, like call this number. I don't think I heard that.
Well, that's the Ask Rotary website. That's askrotary.com.
Yeah, but what about calling this number? So
Well,
that,
if they go to askrotary.com,
Or-
they can make donations to
You'd
the
have
Million
a-
Meals.
You'd have a serious problem because you'd have to have a central telephone number that someone's manning.
you can hire
And with
that.
60 clubs,
But
who's
you
gonna
can-
pay for
But
it?
you can hire it. You can hire it. That's what they do with,
But this way they go to Ask Rotary and I assume there's a link
The
on
Ask
there.
Rotary website, you can also make donations to the Million Meals, you can make donations to polio, you can use PayPal. These are for the Ask Rotary website is for non-Rotarians. And it has everything that we are doing in the Valley. I don't know, Frank, if you read your newsletter this month, but the newsletter, we're trying to get everybody to open, was 9 pages. We haven't had a newsletter like that since Halid. So.
Do you have a link on that Ask Rotary that will put them in touch with the closest club to them somehow?
It's being monitored, and the person, we're taking turns, we each get it for 4 months, and what'll happen is, it'll go to that person, they will ascertain what area it's in, and send that information to the local Rotary Club. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and the local
I mean, this is
Rotary
to
Club
be,
will
this is to
contact
get membership.
Yeah.
This is to build public
sure.
awareness
When-
and
And when
gain
does
members.
this start?
It started.
Don, I already heard one.
Did you?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So the local Rotary Club then will contact them, we hope.
We, yeah, that is what they're supposed to do, but we
Yes.
really are trying to stay on top of it ourselves.
In essence, they are actually doing what RI does, and that is like when somebody moves to another part of the country, they will go on the RI website and they'll let RI know, they want to, they're moving to this area, they need a club, and RI will send out an email to those clubs letting them know that this person's moving there, here's their phone number, here's their address. So that task is now being done by Ask Rotary, which I think is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
On the ad, when they go to the website, will there be a phone number at that point that
No.
they can call?
No.
Well, that would be easier because they're really wanting, radio stations now are not enticing you to pick up a phone while you're in the car.
That's happening all over the place,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, so you really don't want to encourage somebody to.
Dialing a phone number.
However, when they go to the website, there should be a phone number there for them to call, or, that's easy to do because then you don't have to man it.
Or for even a local Rotary Club, they can get my
Yeah.
phone number, I'll take.
That's
a
what I'm
call
saying,
from
should the
anybody.
local, whatever the phone number is, have a
That's a good idea.
directory on the website. That's not hard to do, that's a page.
Yeah,
Yeah, but no one's gonna monitor a phone 24 hours.
That's what I'm saying, the phone, it doesn't need
you don't
be
have to.
monitored.
It's
You don't
just-
need to monitor
It's
the
just
phone.
giving the number for the local club. So in case somebody wants to call a local club and ask, what's up.
Well, so wait, you're talking, this is going throughout the district, so what local club number do we put on that? You can't.
That's the
You're talking
dilemma.
about 60 numbers.
Well, there's a
We've
phone
been there,
number.
done that for
You
many
can
years.
always
Isn't
put
there-
our number on there.
Isn't there a
Right?
phone number on
Maybe
your
even
website?
Temecula.
Give it, put my phone.
It happens to be mine. I haven't received one call. But
I
if I
tried-
did, I'd
Well, I
answer
can
it.
only say that my number was on the Million Meals last year, and trust me, I got a shitload of calls.
Drove her crazy.
Well, that's because it was Rotarians,
No, it wasn't,
Erased
it
that
wasn't.
from the table.
It wasn't
I mean,
Rotarians?
every hungry person in the valley, I tell you.
I wonder why we couldn't get a hold of you.
I did get calls, and then you really feel personally responsible. I got so involved in some of these people that you don't want to give out your personal phone number.
What a
so-
way to meet new friends.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, let's see, what else? Is there anything else that anybody would like to make any announcements about this
May I
time?
make one?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ron and I got together, and we're going to have a visit by the district governor on September the 17th,
Next Tuesday,
next
no
Tuesday.
short pants? I had them offered. Now they fit.
So Joe and Ginny Ramos will be here, and I know that a lot of people are, down valley and so on, but it would be great to encourage them to come and meet Joe. And Ron's been there, done that before, so he'll be a good leader with that. Thank you. And I'll
Be
be
there,
there that evening also.
last year, or a big square is the idea. Yeah, so we want everybody to come. And we'll try to make a good
Be there and
impression.
be square.
All these great jokes you're hearing tonight, even though they're not good jokes, they won't be here. I'll be just, I'll be here. But yeah, we're really looking forward to our governor coming, sort of, and as we always do. And those that are on the board should be here. I don't know what time. How far early do they?
About an hour and a half,
Okay, will do.
and we'll coordinate the exact timing and so on. We'll be in touch down the line.
I'll read the information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well then, I was hoping our dinner would be here by now, but it's not. So, kill time until it is. Talk amongst yourselves. That's all I got to say. For the morning, I'm off duty. Anyway, he's a good friend of Chris's. Chris's wife's birthday today, so he gave him a ring and said, call Ron and see if he'd like to come in and present. We're happy to have him. Past Rotarian, hopefully a Rotarian again. Thank you.
Great.
I'm just going to move this chair so I have a little cheat sheet. All
Dale,
right.
tell us your last name.
Dale Charette, which is why I go as Dr. Dale, because nobody can ever remember my last name. So it's just easier to kind of go as Dr. Dale. I don't know, no matter where I go, everybody seems to, without even trying, that's how I always.
Well, if you're going to go by Dr. Dale, you got to wear a sweater or something.
Yeah, there you go.
In this
Well-
weather?
Well, by way of history, I'm a chiropractor for 22 years. I used to practice in Visalia, California, which is...
Can I just stop you and can you
Sure.
start over for our film crew here?
Oh, sure.
This lighting, I think everybody's going to get sick.
It'll be a strobe.
Yeah, it actually is on your face,
Yeah, it's really distracting. If I were taller, I could stop it. I think it's off.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Take two.
It was like one of those old movies, with the light in the dark.
I always wanted to run a show like that.
Okay, my name's Dale Charette. I've been in practice for 22 years in Visalia, California, which is about 35 miles south of Fresno, about 70 miles south of Bakersfield. So Central Valley, my children are now both in college, which that was my ticket out of the Central Valley. I've been wanting to move down here for about 20 years, and I didn't do that until my kids went off to school. So that's kind of, did a lot of workers' compensation, personal injury work up in the Central Valley. So my basic mode of treatment is I'm used to working with medical doctors, I'm used to referring to medical doctors, and vice versa. So what I'm going to try to do today is talk to you about what a chiropractor does, what are some of the common problems that chiropractors treat, and then thirdly, how the marketplace is changing and chiropractic and medicine are getting more closely aligned as time goes on, and how I think a chiropractic practice / treatment or alternative could be positioned in the marketplace so that medical doctors and chiropractors can work together. together, and then the real winner is the patient. So, okay, in short, there's a lot of misconceptions about what a chiropractor does and what a chiropractor doesn't do. Short and sweet, what a chiropractor does is we restore the mobility in the spinal column when it gets misaligned, or there is also nerve interference. Now, in short, spinal column's 33 vertebra. There's nerves coming out on each angle, and all the nerves go out to all the organs, tissues, muscles, ligaments. Pretty much everything in your body has a nerve innervation somehow. So what happens, the best way to look at it globally is that if you have, really anything in your body can be affected by the nervous system. Now, it may not be primary. It could be secondary. You don't really know about it. I mean, you don't think about breathing every day, but you breathe. You don't think about all those voluntary things that you do. So what I do as a chiropractor is I pay a lot of attention as to what's going on with your posture. My concept has always been try and figure out from the feet up what's going on. So I gave you a handout there. You'll see on the first page where it says posture, stability, and balance. And the kind of take-home message here is just simply like feet, knee, low back, elbow, head and neck. These are all common areas of stress. I mean, just ask anybody who's gone to the doctor with back pain, neck pain, headaches, knee pain. Well, they can, when you come into a chiropractor, we're looking at it from a neurologic point of view, we're looking at it from an orthopedic view, but we're also looking at it from a posture point of view. And so, I'm going to look at like how your feet are positioned. I'm going to look at the arches in your feet, because literally, like Ron and I were talking earlier, you could have a problem in your arches. There's 3 arches in your foot. You could have an arch problem, one of those arches that could be putting pressure on your knee going in, so you're going to have an internal rotation of your knee, which is then going to throw the hip out, which is then going to show the shoulder out and make the head go like this. So it's like, if you throw all that together, it's like, this person looks pretty weird walking down. So it's like we see every variation of that. So it's like I'll have somebody come in and I'm going to look at them straightforward. I'm going to see if their shoulder's high or low. I'm going to see if their one ear's lower than the other. All these things kind of lead secondarily to symptoms that can show up. Now, sometimes I'll have people come in and they don't have any symptoms, but if you look at them from a chiropractic point of view, you wonder like why their neck doesn't hurt. So it's like you can have postural problems and not have pain. So it's like you don't always have to have pain to go to the chiropractor. I mean, some people go to the chiropractor once a month because they just want to do a maintenance type visit and they want to keep themselves balanced. So there's just a lot of reasons why people go to a chiropractor. The biggest one's pain. Now, if you've got these areas and you're not stable in the head, the neck, the low back, or the knees or the feet, you'll end up having some common problems, which can be 1, balance, 2, strength, and 3, your muscles are just going to tend to give out a little quicker. A lot of that is based off of the nerves. Think of it as like a dimmer switch on a light. If you turn the dimmer switch down, the light still works, and it'll light up the room, but it doesn't light up the room as well as if it's on full blast. Well, your nervous system's the same way. You get much better nerve flow if the light's on all the way instead of it's down on 1. So it's like my goal as a chiropractor is to relieve that nerve interference so that we can get the nervous system working more at an optimal level. So it's like, that's kind of the big picture, and probably the simplest terms we can lay out. Now, I'm going to just go over some statistics that I put together. The annual cost of neck and back pain is over $100 billion a year. that goes into either chiropractors, medical doctors, orthopedic surgeons. You know, it's like globally it's over $100 billion. The most common problems are neck pain, low back pain, and shoulder pain. Of almost 50% of the patients that come into a medical office for back or neck pain have some form of what we call a musculoskeletal problem, which are usually soft tissue injuries that could be like joint, muscle, ligaments, and tendons. The other 50% could be much more severe injuries that basically are going to be out of the scope of a chiropractor. They're going to need much more advanced medical attention. Those aren't the clients or patients that I would even remotely be seeing. They're out of the scope of my practice. The 50% that are coming in for these simpler problems, 80% are taking some form of medication. So, you know, what my concept is that these lower level soft tissue injuries are starting to kind of overload the system. So you got a lot of these lower level cases in the medical offices, and it got me to start thinking that possibly larger, like managed care facilities, orthopedic offices, incorporating a chiropractor into their office, even urgent care, possibly could have a chiropractor work within those facilities that would help to significantly improve the outcomes of these lower level injuries. Because most of these soft tissue injuries heal in about 8 to 12 weeks, but they're kind of just overloading the system. So, you know, I started to kind of like do some research on this, and I found out that some of the offices that are doing this medical chiropractic approach, patients are reporting general improvement in other areas. Like if you came in for neck pain, you're also then saying, well, I don't have headaches as much, and my energy level's a little better. A lot of that is the nervous system's just kind of gotten pumped up, and it's kind of working a little better. It's a little freer. And then patients seem to be pleased that their medical doctor and their chiropractor are working together, and that their medical doctor has access to their chiropractic records. So it's like you can do everything under kind of one roof. And then statistically, chiropractic's the most frequently used type of alternative care in the United States. And then it's very cost effective because most of the treatment plans are not more than 2 to 3 months. And if you can avoid, a couple of the more expensive stuff, well then, all of a sudden chiropractic becomes cost effective. And then it creates an extra referral option for the medical facility. And then a lot of times these lower level injuries are healing faster, the patients are happy, and so now the demand's kind of going up. More patients are kind of starting to ask their medical doctors either to be referred to a chiropractor or to have a chiropractor within their facility. So I guess in summary, like for my talk, it's like I think chiropractic is a cost-effective alternative for the soft tissue injuries that are currently kind of overloading the system, and that it's possible that we can get involved as a limited addition to like an interdisciplinary, that's a hard word to say, healthcare team. So it's like, if we can just become, like, there's certain cases we're not going to be involved in because it just doesn't make medical sense that we would be involved in those cases. But if we can just like take this small piece of the pie that we're really good at helping and then incorporate that into a medical practice, it just might be something that helps the healthcare system kind of work a little better. And then finally, in my opinion, it's like the real winners are the patients, because in the end, we can be a supplement to a medical doctor's office, and a patient doesn't have to go to 6 different providers, to get all this care. So part of part of my coming down here, when I first came down here, I thought I'm going to open a chiropractic office on my own. And what I decided to do after being down here for about 6 months is I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to try and do is actually find either a medical facility or medical doctor or a group of medical doctors that are kind of open to this concept. And because I just think it's something that the market's ready for. So temporarily I'm out there, I'm kind of more of like a mobile guy right now, but it's just kind of, this is my, this is my temporary gig till I do what I really want to do. So I'll keep it brief. I just open it up to questions. Sometimes there's, people have no idea what I'm even talking about. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I'm curious to know, my knowledge of chiropractic is extremely limited because
Okay.
I've come from the formal medical background.
Correct.
I would like to know if you have board certified chiropractors, if there's standardization in the chiropractic education that the various chiropractic schools are giving out.
Oh, that's an excellent question. Okay, chiropractic is the best way to describe it. It's like going to medical school without learning all the pharmacology. We're not going to learn much. We're not going to learn much about how drugs react together because we don't prescribe drugs. But we do spend like about 70% of our education going over anatomy and physiology. So we can look at a body and figure out things biomechanically at a very high level. It's 4 years of college. When I went to school, you needed 2 years of prerequisites and then 4 years of chiropractic school. Now it's 4 years of prerequisites and 4 years. So it's 8 years, just like going to medical school. Not that I'm trying to compare chiropractic school to medical school, because I'm not. When you finish, you have to take national boards while you're in school. You have to pass a state license test, and then you have to do 24 hours of continuing ed every year. And that's made up of x-ray and ethics and technique and all that stuff. So it's very well regulated, and it isn't, chiropractic's 100 years old. It was actually founded in the late 1800s. And, back then, you could probably, buck a Cracker Jacks. And, that's kind of the image that still sits out there sometimes. But for the most part, no, it's very regulated, and it's very much a education-based system now. And everybody, you can then, as a chiropractor, you can go and become what they call a chiropractic, you can do specialties within chiropractic just like you can in the medical profession. Like you can be a chiropractor and then what's a DACBO, which is a diplomat of the chiropractic board of radiology, blah, 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 whatever. So you can do all those things, or you can just be a chiropractor. So like a chiropractor just says DC behind its name, that's all they did. If they're, like I became a QME as a doing in work comp. So I got trained in that. And then I've gone to a lot of different trainings, so it's like I could probably put 10 initials behind my name if I wanted to. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
very much.
Okay.
Insurance.
Okay.
How is that, is it like regular insurance, or do you have to have an injury?
Well, if you are, every insurance covers
For
chiropractic.
preventative care.
Yeah. A lot of insurance companies don't like the word maintenance care. Maintenance care is like a $10 word to an insurance company for we're not paying for it.
My second question is because you say you're just getting into town.
Right.
Networking is probably a really good, this town, the whole Coachella Valley is good for that networking.
Oh, I agree.
Type of medicine that you're talking about. And also there's a lot, I don't know if you checked with Eisenhower or not, or any of them not, but I highly recommend that.
Oh, no, in fact.
They'll do just fine, by the way, because there's a demand.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Third question, I'm sorry. Have you bought a house yet?
gave him my Rotary card.
Man, that sure took you a long time,
You already gave him
GP.
up.
You're
I
slowing
gave my
down.
Rotary card, GP.
Oh, God, that's
He's
funny.
gonna join this Rotary Club.
All right, you're the Rotary man and I'm the real estate.
Okay. No, I haven't.
Okay, welcome, and I think you'll do real well with what you, and I wanted to, where would I see you now? I need to make an appointment, which I
Well,
did.
when we're done here, I've got some cards with me. Right now, I'm gonna be in a situation temporarily where if you need me, I'll come to you.
You can come to my office?
Yeah.
I got a big conference room table.
Yeah, I'm mobile for a short period of time until I,
Well, I'll look forward to.
yeah, because I think this is I think what I'm suggesting is, it's very realistic. Yeah.
I haven't been to a chiropractor.
Go ahead.
I'm recommending that you really pursue home visitations and treatment. Because I haven't heard of a chiropractor that does it.
Well, that's why I came up with that idea. I dreamed it up about
You know,
3 in the morning one day.
Obviously, your equipment is not very complicated,
No,
and you can take x-rays anywhere.
right?
Most chiropractors, I share about 8 of my 10 offices with chiropractors,
Okay.
and they've given up their x-ray
Oh, yeah,
because it's not cost effective.
you're right.
And there's a medical legal problem, they read an x-ray, someone have to send it out to a board certified radiologist, make sure they're not missing anything.
Exactly.
So I recommend you do that. I
Okay.
think it's very commendable.
Yeah.
And you gotta put out the information.
Right.
Somewhere,
the key.
that's a key, nobody knows about you. You know, you treat one patient happily, you'll probably get 10 referrals.
Oh, I agree. In fact, yeah, I
That's what
had,
it's all about.
I had a situation last Saturday. A friend of mine called a friend of his who happens to be in a country club, and it was like the guy was in pain, and it was like, he says, I'm going to give you, I'm going to call my friend Dale, and it happened to be like 10 at night, and I was just like, I'm not going to turn this guy, I'm not going to just not, oh, it's 10 at night, I'm not going. That guy just was just like, I'll do anything for you. I mean, it's like I fixed his problem, and it's like, it's such a personal service to be able to kind of come to somebody's house in a trust relationship. And so it's like once you establish that, people go like, I'm telling everybody about you. And that you're right about
Huge
that.
word of
But
mouth.
that's a niche in this valley.
Right.
That I think would just go crazy to have somebody that would come to their home to help them like that. That you would really fill
Well,
an empty spot.
yeah, in fact, I even took it one step further. On my business card, I just put, Dr. Dale's Mobile Chiropractic, we bring the doctor to you.
Wow. That's concierge care?
Yeah. I had a marketing background prior to chiropractic. Yes.
When did chiropractic medicine begin?
It was 1892. That was
In what country?
actually in Davenport, Iowa. Middle of nowhere.
Where's the word chiropractic come from?
Chiro means done by hand. Like the actual word means done by hands. So the old chiropractors, it was like your tools are your hands. Some of the new chiropractors, they use different gadgets. There's a lot of techniques out there, but most of the people who are what they call Palmer chiropractors were all very like old school. We're kind of into the old way of doing it.
Well, Palmer was a person.
Yeah.
Palmer's your hand.
Yeah, D.D. Palmer was the founder of chiropractic, and then his son, B.J. Palmer, kind of like, carried on the flame for a while.
Well, just think, if you were in a stagecoach in 1892 and you were coming across the country, wouldn't you be pretty messed up by the time you got to Iowa? So,
Yeah, it didn't go any further.
didn't take much more than that.
Sitting in that old buckboard.
Yeah.
So what's the relationship between massage and chiropractic?
Okay, massage, the best way to describe massage is it's a superficial treatment. You're not going very deep into the body. So you're going to get temporary relief from muscle tension. But if you have underlying issues where bones are out of place or things are pinched, it's not going to be very long where you need to go in and fix the deeper problem. So that's why sometimes people go, oh, I felt great for like a day or two after the massage. That's because your body was relaxed, but then if the core issues come back, it doesn't last. So,
And masseurs don't do settings, right?
no, And so, you know, a lot of times, if you get a good massage therapist, they recognize, like, you're like, and you gotta go to the chiropractor. And a good chiropractor, a lot of times, will notice when you need to have, like, I could adjust you like crazy, but if you're stressed out muscle-wise all the time, you're just gonna go right back out of place. So, chiropractors and massage therapists, acupuncturists, I believe that chiropractors and physical therapists should work together.
Yeah.
I mean, we tend to like hate each other. I don't really know why. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think we ought to work together because the patient would benefit. My thinking is all disciplines should just work together because the only person who's going to win is the patient.
Well, you're a true team player, which is how medicine should be.
I agree.
The word now is multidisciplinary.
Yeah.
And that's allowed under a lot of insurance companies work comp. There's got to be an aesthetic. You have to have a goal.
Right.
You have to put good written notes. If your notes are no good, most of my see are terrible. That's just the problem.
No, you're right about that. You have to have great, what they call soap notes. If you don't have these things called soap notes, which they document everything that happened in the visit. If you know, the medical doctors have always been a lot better at doing notes, in my opinion, than chiropractors.
Probably because they get sued more.
Could be. Any more questions?
When are you joining the club?
Well, you know,
That's
I
the
was
kind of question
I was in the Palm Desert one, and it was just really too much of a time commitment for me. This concept would actually kind of work for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, my time is going to become pretty valuable, and it's like, I know I'm not going to be able to make every meeting, but that doesn't seem to be like a major
But if
issue.
you
As
call,
long
you went to give us some chiropractic adjustments
What's that?
before or after the meal.
Dale, where do you live?
I live in Cathedral City right now.
Okay,
and I'm
well,
So you're so
Close enough.
Yeah, I'm staying at my sister's for a while right now, and you know, because she made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Have you ever gone to Rotary before Palm Desert?
A long, long time ago when I was in Visalia.
Because you know that it could serve as a good networking
Oh, without a doubt.
platform.
Yeah,
And coming to this club, at least in the evening, you tend to be less stressed.
yeah.
And you'll be able to really participate in Rotary.
Right? Oh yeah, and I've been in a lot of service organizations, and I'm real community oriented just in general. So it's like that's not a real
Grab 'em, Ron.
that's not a big reach for me.
Thank
no.
you very much. And as just a side note, as Becky was leaving, because he and I discussed Desert Oasis, of which they have 700 employees here in the valley, many of which are doctors. And I was curious to know if they had any chiropractors, because they're an HMO. And in fact, I'm going to my doctor for my own situation on Tuesday, of which I'm going to ask him, can you refer me to him and see what he says? But she said, well, yeah, when she was in a different spot in her company, in contract care, you know, they had contracts, and she was in the contract, and she was a contract analyst and all that. They actually did have one or two chiropractors, but her opinion, from what she knows, and of course she's not in the medical end, she's in the numbers end, she said there's a huge demand for it
Oh, it's very big.
within their company. So he's going to get an opportunity to get connected to Desert Oasis, which I think is a natural fit.
And you
They
know, my
really-
personal opinion, they need
They
a good
absolutely
chiropractor.
do
Yeah.
need it.
Will they allow him to do his personal thing that he wants to do?
Well, I think personally that they will because of Dr. Hoffing. Dr. Hoffing owns that place, and he's very personable. You've seen him at our club, some of you. He came and spoke. And, you know, he has a vision. He's not, you know, that completely, doctor, blinder vision. He has a vision for the whole deal and for preventative health care. And so I think that
He has a 5-year plan. 5 or
that's,
10-year plan.
yeah, he's got a plan, all right. And I believe that if he meets him and he sees what he's offering, and especially with the mobile aspect of it, if that were connected through Desert Oasis and they could offer that, and a guy like my doctor could say to some senior type person who
Right.
can't get around too much, hey, we got the guy for you, we'll send him over. I think they'd have a big winner on their hands because they prevent a lot of doctor's visits, and that's what they're after.
Right.
And that's what the doctor's after. The doctor is an HMO. We never want to see you. We just want the money, you know, coming in for you on the per capita.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah, doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
So when do I get my free treatment? Okay. Well, thank you very much. We're going to do Happy Dollars now.
Thank you.
Let you all get out of here. So we're going to do that next.